That's your story. You should
You don't mind.
No, I don't. I'm glad you came down to city council.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's getting the third. Okay.
So nice to meet you. You have a card? What is your name? Good to meet you. I'm Elsie with Center I am District 3, and I am where Oldies Road is, Carl Daly, Old Overton, all of that area, the villas and Oldies, all that they do, there is a mill, and
I grew up right off of Mobile.
yeah.
I live off of Tennessee. I grew up off of Mobile at the top of the hill of Queenstown. My whole family was from Queenstown. Dad, did you go to school? Okay.
Montana's very, very good to meet you. I'm so landfill. Stinks that I have. Running the property values. It's bad. It's bad. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done because it's ruining the property values. It stinks. Yeah, but it wasn't. I was talking to the gentleman, because I have a friend that lives on the Wisteria Trace, and I was talking to her neighbor, and he told me, he says, you smell that? I said, I do, it stinks, it smells like cow manure. And he said, I lived here for 18 years, we never had that stench. They gotta do something about it. I said, we need to talk to the council, or we need to talk to the county, and have them do something.
It's dented like me, it's got patina like me, you know. I want to bust up though. All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Councilwoman Cuellar, if you would be so kind.
Almighty God and Father, we come before you to give you thanks and praise for the many blessings that you bestow upon us and upon our city. Lord, we have a lot of things on our agenda this evening. We ask that you guide us, help us to make decisions that are in the best interest of our city as well as our residents. And we ask for much wisdom and prudence in all that we do, and may all of it be for your glory. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, roll call. Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Cuellar.
here.
Councilman Box.
Here.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself here as well. All right. We're looking for the approval for the minutes from the regular city council meeting on April the 19th of 2022.
Motion to approve the minutes for April 19th, 2022.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Okay. At this time, I'll be looking for a motion for the approval of the current bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $596,777.88.
We have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. No opposed. Okay. At this time, we'd be looking for any professional or consultant reports to the city. Any professionals or consultants? Okay. Mayor, you have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you, Council President, for giving me this opportunity to be able to give a report to our citizens. I'm going to start off and to say that we are still in the midst of our Spring Trash Amnesty Week. We're now doing District 1, May 2nd through the 5th, and we're doing District 2, May 9th through the 12th. Make sure you put out items that are trash items that typically we do not pick up, but we are not picking up hazardous materials. Secondly, this morning, we had the ribbon cutting for the Moon River Canoe Launch on Highway 78. I want to thank the Freshwater Land Trust, Alabama Power, Goodwin Mills in Kaywood, and I know that I'm probably missing one of the other sponsors that was a part of bringing this to fruition. The city of Irondale is blessed to be the only place on the Cahaba River that has 2 access points. So it's a very nice place to be able to put your canoe. I'm glad I didn't go out there with a suit and bow tie on because it wasn't fitting for the environment. But we really had a good time out there. I also want to thank J.J. Pruitt for being out there and to broadcast that event. On Thursday, we're having the 2nd annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast at Church of the Highlands. We're going to open the doors at 7:30 to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to receive their sustenance to help them to be able to make it through the meeting. We currently have 300 people that are going to be in attendance. The registration is now closed, so I want to thank the community and people for signing up to come and to be able to participate in this event. And we also have about 30 to 35 sponsors, so I also want to be able to thank them as well. On Saturday, instead of Sunday, we're going to have the message from the mayor. And last year, we used to have guest interviewers to be able to do it. But for the next 6 or 7 months, we're just going to have one person, and that's going to be Daryl Washington. Daryl, when he interviewed me last year, ended up having more views than any other of the interviewers. So we're going to go with one person for a while to see how that works out. But we're going to do it on Saturday. We're going to tape it on Saturday, but I guess we will still do the or to be able to put it up on Facebook on Sunday. I didn't want to do it on Sunday because I know that there's not going to be a lot of people sitting around to be able to hear the mayor on Mother's Day. Mother's Day is not like Father's Day. Now, if it's Father's Day, I would have went ahead and done it on Father's Day because, you know, that's Father's Day is Father's Day. But Mother's Day, I know everybody have mothers, real mothers, play mothers, so they're not going to hardly be trying to watch the mayor at 3 o'clock. So I respect Mother's Day, know that I can't win, so we're going to do it on Saturday instead. On May 16th, we're going to have a multi-sport committee roundtable discussion to be able to talk about how we can implement cyclists, hikers, kayakers, and other Irondale outdoor sports enthusiasts to be able to get their idea about some of the things that they want to do in the city of Irondale to see happen before the end of the year. We're also on May 19th, we're going to have the grand opening of the new City of Irondale Water Department, which is in the old PNC building. If you've driven by there, the building doesn't look the way that it used to look. But we're looking for having that grand opening on the 19th at 10:30. And we also have one of our distributors that is going to supply a wonderful meal for everybody. So we're not going to have finger food. We're going to have real food. So make sure you get there at 10:30. And then on Saturday, May 21st, we're going to have the first youth sports camp. We're going to have it at Shades Valley High School. It's going to be from kids, I think we changed it from 9 to 14, and we're going to focus on recruiting kids for football, cheerleading, baseball, and basically it's a skill camp to see what athletic ability that we have in the city, and then we will work to be able to place them in certain sports. I still remember the fourth grader in my ear that said, "Mayor, why we don't have any youth sports in the city of Irondale?" I get a chance to go to the community school on tomorrow, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to find that fourth grader and tell her we now have sports coming to the city of Irondale. And next to the last thing is that I hope everybody goes on the website and sign up for the free concert. I don't know of many places that you can get a free concert that you have Taylor Hicks, PMJ, Eric Essex, and Kim Scott. If you had to buy a ticket to be able to hear these artists, you would pay a lot. But the city of Irondale, for our 135th birthday, we're going to have this for our citizens. And if you're an Irondale citizen, we need you to sign up because it's going to be absolutely free. And the last thing that I have is that on May 31st, we're asking all parents that are interested in their children playing softball or baseball. We're going to have it here in the council chamber, and we're having a meeting that's going to be led by our city clerk, Ms. Lee Allison, and Frank Pennington, who is our public works director, to talk about how their kids can get involved in fall ball. That concludes my announcements for tonight. I know that we have a lot of political candidates that are here, and you would like to speak to the wonderful citizens of Irondale. What I'm going to do is to offer you 3 minutes to come and to be able to give us your political spiel. And once you have done that, then we'll have the next person. So how many people are here to speak to the citizens about running for office? Okay. So are you all going to fight it out or whatever? Rock, paper, scissors, whatever, figure out who's going to be the first person. But I guess we'll start with Miss Susan, and then we'll go to Miss Ruffin, and then we'll have Miss Felicia in the back to comment, to address you all.
You want me to use this? Okay, can y'all hear me? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, I want to take this opportunity to officially introduce myself to the citizens and to the mayor and the city council. My name is Susan DeBose, and I'm running for Alabama House District 45. So I'm running against somebody that's been there for a long time, and somebody that lives in the city of Leeds, and y'all may know who that person is. But I believe in term limits, and I believe also that you in Irondale, and actually all of us, deserve to have a representative that's actually active and engaged and visible in the community, and not just in the one little part of the district that they live in. So District 45, it's a big district, like all of them. It's 47,000 people. So it takes in part of Irondale. It's the southern parts of Irondale, Grants Mill Road area, Carl Daly, the old Leeds Road area, Belmont, on down to Highland Church. And then it goes on into Leeds. It goes to Greystone. It goes to Chelsea. It goes to Donovan Valley, Sterrett, Highland Lake. So it's a large, diverse area. And so all of the citizens in the district deserve to have somebody that can truly represent them and not just the small community that they're from. So that's the main reason that I'm running. I want to represent all of you. I want to engage with the city officials in each area. I want to be a part of your growth, part of your vision, a part of your plan. I want to listen to you and find out what's important to you and represent you all in Montgomery. And it's a big job, and it requires somebody that has the energy and the time to do it. This will be a full-time job for me. Montgomery, the position in Montgomery is technically only a part-time job. You're actually only down there 30 days a year. It's not very long that you're down there. But it should be a full-time job, because when you're not in Montgomery, you should be engaging throughout the district and meeting with the citizens, listening to them, being accessible to city leaders, to education leaders, to law enforcement. All of that is what you have to do and who you have to work with when you're a representative down in Montgomery. And that's all what I want to do. I want to be there for you. I've given my phone number out. It's on my flyer that I'm going to hand. You call me anytime. I answer the phone. Somebody called me last night and they said, "Oh, I thought your staff might answer." What staff? I have no staff. I'm me. So I will answer the phone, or I'll call you back as soon as I can. We don't have staff, y'all. So my email will be accessible. My Facebook will be accessible. I'll be there for y'all. So I hope I can earn your vote. I know I'm a new face in this community. I've started to engage in the Chamber of Commerce. I plan to be a regular at city council meetings, and I plan to be visible in the community. I live in Greystone. I've been in that area 23 years. I've been in the North Shelby County area about 33 years, actually. I went to school at the University of South Alabama in Mobile. I got a degree in finance, and then I got an MBA at Spring Hill College, and my background is in banking. I worked for Compass Bank for many years. I was a real estate lender, a construction lender, so I'm familiar with finance, I'm familiar with small business. So that's my background and then I took some time off. I stayed home and raised my kids. For our family, that was the best situation. And then I became involved in the nonprofit world, so I raised money for the American Heart Association.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank y'all for having me. Thank you for stopping
Thank
me,
you.
because I could go on.
No worries. We all can. All right. Who do we have next?
Good evening.
Good evening.
If it's okay with you all, I'm just going to talk with you a little bit, and if you want to respond, by all means, go ahead. My name is Alicia Ruffin-May, and I am running for Circuit Court Judge, Place 20. Now, people ask me often on the trail, well, is that in my district? Well, I want you to know this. Circuit Court Judge Place 20 is a seat in Jefferson County. So everyone in Jefferson County will have an opportunity to vote for the judges. However, in the primary election, only those who are in the Birmingham division will be able to vote for Place 20. The Bessemer division will have a separate primary, also held on the same day with different judges. But if you're in the Birmingham division of Jefferson County, yes, I will be on your ballot May 24th. Quite simply, I am running because I want to help improve the court system for all of you. I've been a practicing attorney in Birmingham for 22 years now. Almost all of that is in the area of family law and domestic relations law. Place 20 is a seat where in domestic relations court. I currently sit on the bench in Jefferson County Family Court, where I serve as a senior trial court referee. Some people ask me, well, what is a senior trial court referee? The easiest explanation I can give you is that of a baby judge. You may think of it as an assistant principal, as a physician's assistant, meaning I have much of the authority as a judge in that I hear cases from the very inception of a case when a petition is first filed, all the way through its natural conclusion. I hold trials, we have motion hearings, everything you would in any other courtroom. The only difference is, the major difference is when it comes to appealing or challenging those decisions, meaning I have to sit up under a circuit court judge, which I currently do. And I've been doing that, and I've been hearing thousands of cases dealing with family law and domestic relations. Last thing I'm gonna tell you before I leave is about the person I am. I want you to know that I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I'm a hardworking public servant. I give of myself to help improve. I'm one of those who, when I see a problem, instead of complaining about it, instead of talking about it with others, what can I do to help make the situation better? That's how I was taught, that's how I was raised, and that's why I'm running. I see issues, and I'm trying to help improve them. For example, one is the protracted cases as far as how many times have you heard of people filing petitions in court and it takes forever? They take time off work, they arrange for babysitters, they go through all of this for their court date that they've been waiting on for months. They show up at court only to be told, well, you're gonna have to come back 3 or 4 months later. And so I wanna help improve with that. It's about courtesy, dignity. I've seen people talked down to in court, disrespected for no other reason than somebody may not agree with them. I was taught that we're all equal. I was taught there is no respect of persons. It doesn't matter your job title, it doesn't matter your bank account, it doesn't matter where you live. It's about treating people the way you want to be treated. That's how I live my life, that's how I've taught my children, that's how I'm trying to teach that little wild grand of mine right now. And then it's about just following the law. I am real no nonsense when it comes to the rule of law. I believe in it.
Ms. Ruffin, thank you.
I believe in it and I try to follow it. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Felicia Rucker Summerlin, and I am running for Jefferson County Sheriff. I retired last year from the Sheriff's Office after 31 years of service. I actually retired as the highest ranking female in the Sheriff's Office, 200-year history. I retired as a deputy chief. I have worked in vice and narcotics, school resources, crimes against persons, crimes against property, financial crimes. I've commanded the jail, both jails. I've supervised those guys on patrol. For 17 of my 31 years, I was a supervisor at the jail. So there's pretty much nothing that I have not done. I am running because in 2013, my son was a veteran. My son served 2 tours in Afghanistan, 1 in Iraq. He spent 10 total years in the military, and he came back to this county and was murdered. I'm running because right now our murder rate is so high, and everybody seems to be focusing on everything but an answer to fixing our problem. What's going on in Birmingham is not just Birmingham's problem, it's everybody's problem. And so what I found when I worked in the ID theft task force is that when we work together, we tend to solve our crimes better, faster, and we make our towns a whole lot safer when we work as a unit. And so what I want to do, I want to create a violent crimes investigative task force that will be comprised of Irondale police officers, Gardendale, Fultondale, Hoover, Vestavia, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, Birmingham, and we work together on this. I had a case when I was in ID theft where I didn't know who the guy was, thought I knew who he was, but because we were working with other agencies, when we had our meeting and I showed the picture, someone from Shelby County actually knew who he was. And so that could end a lot of what's going on in our cities right now, with us being unable to identify these people. I owe it to my son, I owe it to you guys to work with the corporate America, work with the school resources, the educators, work with corporate America, the educators, work with community leaders, and work with other agencies to make our town a safer town. I'm qualified, I'm the most qualified candidate on the ballot. No other candidate has made it past the rank of sergeant. I have made it to deputy chief. And I am imploring you guys to elect Felicia Rucker Summerlin for sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Does that conclude your time here?
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you,
Council
sir.
President.
All right. At this time, we would look for any reports from any of our department heads this evening. Chief?
I just have 2 announcements. First, we are having our Cornhole Tournament, 2nd annual, June the 25th at Classic Car Motoring. It's open for registration for teams now, so I just wanted to get the information out. We're also looking for sponsors, and we're also looking for donations. Anybody wants to be a part of that. The philanthropy we're working with this year is 3 Hots and a Cot. It's an organization that helps veterans, and so they help families of veterans with the services they need, and eventually work towards permanent housing. So I just want to try. Last year we worked with the Officer Phil Davis Foundation that helped families of officers fallen, killed in line of duty, or seriously injured. This year we're trying to help veterans. Second, he's not here, but I wanted to announce our officer of the quarter for the first quarter is Officer Batson. He had a battle with COVID a while back. Y'all may remember we welcomed him back, but he's doing a great job and doing really well for the citizens of Irondale. But Officer Batson was recognized as our officer of the first quarter. So that's it.
Thank you, Chief. Any other reports from any other department heads? Fair enough. At this time, we'll move into council reports. I'll start on my side. Obviously, I put some information out there about some dogs that were wandering around. We've had some impacts on some kitties and things of that nature, and there's just been some threatening animals. So I've partnered with Chief Wiggins and everything like that. And the moral of that story is if you're out in your neighborhood, and now this is on the north side that I was talking about, but we know we have some incidents down on the south side over by the school and everything like that. But as far as Irondale as a whole, if you have a run-in with a vicious animal, regardless if it doesn't kill your cat or anything like that, but it's out and it's acting vicious, I implore you guys to please file a police report and get that documentation in place. So that we can know where these dogs are, we can know where these owners are, and we can get the process started That way, when something does happen, we have that documentation in place, and we can get the process moving on these animals. So most of these animals are repeat offenders and things of that nature. This is not just, oh, my dog got out of my house. These are repeat offenders. So I just implore you guys to not just go on Facebook and scream and yell about loose dogs, but just go ahead and file that report and call it in so that we can get documentation in place. Thank you. Councilman Sims?
Next Tuesday, May the 10th at 6:30 at the Irondale Senior Activity Center is the Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association meeting, and I believe that's it.
Okay. Councilman Box?
Just want to thank everybody for coming, especially you candidates. It's good to see your passion and hear the things y'all are trying to do for our community as a whole. And Councilman Sims talked about the Senior Activity Center. Avail yourself to it. If you haven't been there, it's a wonderful opportunity. They do a lot of great things for our community, our city, and for the brevity of our pretty big agenda, I'll let that be it.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Quayle?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and I echo Councilman Box's thank you to the candidates that are running for office. Thank you for putting your name in the hat to serve. May God be with you in your efforts, and I wish you all the best. I also would like to report that next week, beginning May the 11th or 12th, 13th, and 14th, the Alabama League of Municipalities is having their convention, which some of the council members here will be attending. And I'm looking forward to some of the topics that they're going to be discussing. One of them that I'm particularly interested in is short-term rentals. As many of you know, that is beginning to be a very high item of concern for several municipalities, and I look forward to learning more about what other municipalities are doing to address this serious issue. Also wanted to note that there's also going to be an abatement board meeting. I believe it's next week, is that correct, Lee? And our abatement board has been doing a magnificent job here in our city, helping us to clean up properties that may have high weeds or that may need renovations, but really doing all that they can to beautify Irondale. And I can't thank these folks enough. It is open to the public, so if you want to sit in on some of those meetings, it will be held next Wednesday, right? The 11th. And I believe it's 6 o'clock. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman London?
Thank you, Council President. First of all, good evening to everyone. I just want to give all the ladies, mothers, early Happy Mother's Day. Won't see you after this, so Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. Just a couple of things. Got a couple of new businesses in District 1. I just want to mention, I went by and talked with these. The first one is Morris Automotive, which is located in the Grants Mill Station there. Go by and have a conversation with him. And then also Deja Ray Boutique and Event Center. Beautiful place. They sell clothing, and also they have an event center right next door. That's real nice, done a good job with it. And then I heard there's a Shave Ice business coming. I think it's next to the Alabama Appliances. I believe that's correct.
So.
I believe. Man, I'm tell you what, I've been waiting on that a long time, so we're excited. We're excited about the Shave Ice. But Deja Ray Boutique and Event Center, and then Morris Automotive, located right in the Grants Mill Station area. And then also send a special prayer out to Dr. Weber, who's got, I think, he's in the hospital sick. Just want to send a special prayer for him tonight when you lay down beside your bed, on your knees, or standing up, however you want to pray. But send a special prayer up to Dr. Weber tonight. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council President?
Yes, sir.
Can I just cover two quick things?
Sure.
Well, the first thing is I want to thank everyone in the community that came out on Saturday to do the prayer walk through the city of Irondale. We walked 1.5 miles. We started here at City Hall, went down to the community school, prayed for the community school, left the community school, went to Pastor Mike's church, prayed over Revelations, left Revelations, went down to the Bend, prayed in the Bend, and then we left the Bend and we came up to City Hall, and we actually prayed over City Hall. We had different faiths that was here. Father Mitch was here from EWTN, so he prayed over Pastor Mike's church. And I ended up closing everything out when we got here to City Hall. But we had about 60 people to show up, to walk, to be able to pray for this city. And I thought that that was a very powerful thing. The second thing that I forgot to mention is on tomorrow, we're having not really a park board meeting or park meeting, but I invited Chuck Kelly to come and to be able to present what Ruffner Park would look like before we put it out to bid. That's going to be tomorrow evening around 6 o'clock, and John London is going to be facilitating the meeting.
Thank you very much.
One more thing. Another Miss Rochelle Malone is coming in. You want to let her speak?
She's here?
Yeah, she's here. Malone, Miss Malone, would you like to come and give your spiel, 3-minute spiel? Sure. Yes, and then also the mayor's being kind of modest. He haven't announced this award that he's getting tomorrow night. So, you want to talk about that?
Yes, while Miss Rochelle is getting situated, I was selected as one out of 10 mayors and 10 males in the city of I'm so stuck on the city of Irondale. Okay, let me rephrase it. I was selected as one out of 10 males in the city of Birmingham to be considered what is called the YW Ally. And the YW Ally is a man who has empowered women or has worked to eradicate racial inequalities in the community. So 10 of us are being presented at Avondale Brewery tomorrow. So if anybody want to come down to the brewery and catch a beer, you can come down there, but we're having it from 6 to 8 o'clock tomorrow. So I'm thankful that I was chosen because I do try to do everything that I can to make sure that women receive the same benefit and receive the same type of honor that men do. So thank you, John.
That was through the YWCA, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic organization.
All right.
Cool. All right, you have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, council. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rochelle Gaston Malone, and I'm running for Jefferson County School Board District 3. That includes Irondale, Fultondale, Center Point, and Pinson. I am a retired educator. I taught, well, not just taught, but my years of experience include over 16 years. That includes the classroom, a reading coach. I served as a reading coach trainer with the State Department of Education. And I've taught in the classroom on the elementary level as well as the college level, teaching students that wanted to further their education for a 4-year degree in education, as well as certifying CDA licensings for those in child care development. I am seeking this seat. I say I'm not running for a position. I'm seeking an opportunity to be a voice for our children. My passion is improving schools. Now, does that mean that I think there's something wrong with Jefferson County? No, it doesn't. But I know there's always room for improvement. And I feel that I have the skill set and the mindset that pertains to education and what our children need, and understand the policies, rules, and procedures for getting that to happen, to put those best practices in place for our children. So that's why I'm running. I've been retired since 2011, and so most people don't come out of retirement to go into something else. So that lets you know the level of my passion for our kids. I've seen over the past couple of years a decline in our students, and I believe it's mainly because it's been so much disrupt in their lives that's been taking place across the country. And so if I can make a difference as being a part of the board, to come together, collectively working together to implement the best practices that will meet our students and our children and our parents where they need us, so we can effectively serve them and prepare them to be the future of our society. So I just wanted to come by and introduce myself and let you know a little bit about me. This has a little bit more detail. I am the Gaston. I'm not married, Malone. That is my maiden name. Gaston is my family name. I am the great-granddaughter of Dr. A.G. Gaston. So I certainly know how to serve the constituents because he taught me that very well. The importance of serving our city, serving our neighborhoods, and serving our people, providing the things that they need in order to be the best that they could be. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we look for any reports of boards or non-council committees. Any boards or non-council committees? Fair enough. We do not have any public hearings tonight, so we'll be moving into our council deliberation on agenda items only. We've got 20 of these bad boys tonight, so most of them are on the majority of them, 19 of them are on the consent agenda, but we'll still deliberate them regardless. Item number 1, 2, and 3 are real similar in nature. That would be Resolution 2022 R69, 2022 R70, and 2022 R71. And I will just go ahead and read that. Resolve the resolution amends, and each one of these amends a separate resolution. So in this instance, R69 amends R52, that David Pugh is appointed as Director of the Commercial Development Authority for the City of Irondale for the term ending March 15th, 2026. The second item is R70 that amends R53, that Mark Hume is appointed as Director of the Commercial Development Authority for the City of Irondale for the term ending March 15th of 2026. And then thirdly, Resolution R71 amends R51, that Trey Hawkins is appointed as a Director of the Commercial Development Authority for the City of Irondale for the term ending in March 15th. Basically, this is just a housekeeping item. Cindy, I don't know if you want to elaborate on this a little bit?
Basically, the terms for board members end on March 15th, but they were held over to give the council time to do their interviewing, and those interviews took place. And at our last council meeting, which was in April, I believe it was the 27th, is when we appointed these 3 gentlemen. But the resolution said April 26th of 2026. It should have said March 15th of 2026. And so that's the only change that has been made. They will be serving for the 4 years, but their terms expire on March 15th, 2026.
Thank you, Councilman Cuellar. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar, obviously, you're good. Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
Done.
Are we good to keep all 3 of these on consent?
Yes.
Everybody? Councilman London, you're good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Item number 4, Resolution 2022 R72 authorizes the donation of $1,000 to Shades Valley High School for use by the Shades Valley track team. Mayor, there's a few of these. Is there any blanket statements or anything you want to say in general about these educational items?
You want me to hit all?
If you would like to go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. Number 4 is, the young lady was here from the Shades Valley track team. I shared with her that I would give $1,000 out of my discretionary fund to be able to support the endeavors of the track team. When I had a chance to be able to go to the Young Entrepreneurs event, the Shades Valley robotics team was there. I think they had just won first place, but they're doing some wonderful things there. If you get a chance to come to the office, they actually printed a 3D picture of their favorite mayor, which is me. Also, they know how to market and to make sure they know how to get what they want. So there were some little smart politicians up there. So I want to be able to support the robotics team and what they're doing there at the city. 10, 11, 12, and 13 is what we provided to the schools last year. So these are the same amounts that they received last year. Although we budgeted $150,000, this only covers $100,000 of that amount. So there's still $50,000 that are sitting there that could be used for other school activities. I just didn't want to be able to exhaust it, because when we talked about the additional $50,000, it was supposed to be used for career tech helping kids to be able to identify their God-given ability and what they would like to be when they grow up. And the other portion was supposed to be used to help the K-4. I think the K-4 program, because I went to a conference on economic development and it said that if you want to make an investment into education and really make a difference in your community, those are the two places that you should invest that money. So it's still $50,000 that is sitting over there for that. So that basically sums up everything that we have on the agenda about education.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilman London, any questions on 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, or 13?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
10, 11, 12, 13, is that just based off of the number of students?
I was based on the student population for each school.
Thank you.
Thank you. That being said, can 10, 11, 12, and 13 remain on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Everyone's in favor? Okay.
Should board that.
Yes, and 4 and 5 as well. Thank you, Councilman Sims. All right, headed back up to the top. Resolve the resolution 2022 R74, adopting and approving the Division G multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan in fulfillment of the Federal Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 and the local mitigation plan requirements of 44 CFR Section 201.6. Mayor, to care to elaborate?
Yes, when I went to the last mayor's meeting, if you want to be able to tap into federal funds from the county in the event that there's a disaster, you have to adopt this resolution. If you don't adopt the resolution, you don't get any funding.
Copy that. Councilman London?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
I'm good.
Councilman Sims?
I just want to say, if anybody ever has any trouble sleeping, I will send you that whole thing that we're going to read. You can use it for weeks.
No worries.
April said that was a test. It was only a test.
Only a test. Shall this remain on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Everybody's good? Outstanding. Item number 7, resolve the resolution 2022 R75 authorizes the execution of an agreement with the Finish Coat LLC in the amount not to exceed $1,600 for work in the Water Department Inspections Building located at 801.
It's,
One moment.
That's the one that got edited, right?
It's 2,500.
2,500. I have that now. All right. Not to exceed 2,500 for work in the Water Department Inspections Building located at 1801 Crestwood Boulevard. I think we have an idea of this. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilman Cuellar?
Got my questions answered.
Councilman Box?
Our wonderful city clerk took care of my question.
Outstanding. Councilman Sims?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Item number 8, resolve the resolution 2022 R76 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. to execute an agreement with Whistle Stop Festival Incorporated, an Alabama non-for-profit corporation for the 2022 Whistle Stop Festival. Mayor, is there anything you care to elaborate on this?
Basically, it's the same request that it was the year before. However, there was one part of the agreement that we wanted to put back into the agreement, and that's if there are any funds that are left over at the end of the event. We do not want those funds to be escrowed, but we want them to be delivered back to the city of Irondale.
And the board was okay with that?
I don't know if the board's okay with it, but the mayor's fine with it.
Fair enough. Councilman London, do you have any questions on that?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yeah, I spoke with the mayor about that, raised that concern, and I'm fine with passing the resolution with this change in the wording, that any remaining funds would be returned back to the city of Irondale.
Gotcha, so you're good with the current iteration of what we're discussing?
Yes.
Okay, copy. Councilman Box?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Councilman Sims?
I'm good.
All right, and I'm good as well. All right, keep that on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 9, resolution, resolve the resolution 2022 R77 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. to enter into, a community service agreement with I Am Love Ministries LLC in the amount of $2,500 for conducting of a youth athletics SEAL camp for football, baseball, basketball, softball, and soccer to be held at Shades Valley High School, May 22nd. I got the name wrong, didn't I? Okay, what's it called? Okay, gotcha. The I Am Love Studios LLC. I'm apparently reading from the wrong copy. Councilman Lennon, any questions on that?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Got my questions answered?
Councilman Box?
Mine are answered as well.
Councilman Sims?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good as well. Everybody agree to keep this on consent?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are those the only two changes that I should do? Okay, cool. 11. Once I get rolling, man, it's over with. All right, on to 14. Resolution 2022-R82 authorizes the engagement of bond counsel underwriter and financial advisor in authorization of a purchase contract. Mayor, is there anything you want to elaborate on this?
Other than we have a purchase contract that's coming due on June the 30th, and we wanted to make sure that we had the finance team in place to execute the financing for the deal.
Okay, Councilman London?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
You answered my question.
Councilman Sims?
Mine were answered, good.
Okay, perfect. And mine are answered as well. Everybody agrees to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 15, resolve the resolution 2022-R83 authorizes the purchase of two 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe vehicles from Donahue Chevrolet LLC utilizing drug funds received by the city and the execution of any documentation necessary to effectuate such purchase. Chief, is there anything you want to elaborate on this? Seems pretty clear cut.
We ordered these vehicles about 18 months ago. When we found out it was taking so long to get here, we went with Durango's. They're still available for us. We have at least 7 vehicles we're gonna replace next year. This will give us a head start towards replacing those vehicles, and we have funding source.
Outstanding. Councilman London, any questions?
Does this get you up to par with the fire department?
No, sir.
No, it's still.
If you want to vote on that tonight, we have to.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yeah, and I just want to comment that this is using drug funds that the police department receives, so it's not coming out of the general fund. These are funds that the police department received from a drug bust, right? Okay.
Councilman Box?
I'm good.
Councilman Sims?
We can strap a ladder on one of those. If make you feel better.
If I asked for red one, the ladder in front of them.
No
Nice.
question.
I think it needs more.
And I have no questions as well. We can all agree to keep this on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Item number 16, resolve that resolution 2022-R84 authorizes the execution of a contract by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. to extend the hire of Emma Tolbert as the mayor's appointee according to the Jefferson County Personnel Board of Jefferson County until October 31st of 2025, and to increase her compensation by $1,000 per month. Councilman Lennon, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yeah, I just have some comments. I did speak with Mayor Stewart about this because it is a $12,000 increase in pay over a year's time. And I noticed that we have another resolution for Butch Gerald's, and that increase is $3,000, and which I think is fair. And again, it's nothing against Ms. Tolbert at all, but I feel much more comfortable if we go with a tiered, for instance, go $6,000 this year, and then go $6,000 next year, and then evaluate it and see how it goes. But I'm just not comfortable with a $12,000 increase in pay. I don't know of many people that get a $12,000 increase in pay for a part-time position. And so I'm proposing that we consider $6,000 this year to make it $30,000, and then $6,000 next year to make it $36,000, instead of a $36,000 right off the bat increase for a part-time position.
Councilman Box?
No, the mayor and legal counsel answered my question concerning liability insurance.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Okay. Since there has been some alternative ideas injected into the resolution, Councilman London, do you have any follow-up comments?
No follow-up. No.
Okay. Councilman Box, we've already gone through this. Any follow-up comments?
Negative.
And Councilman Sims? Mayor, is there any follow-up comments on this?
Yeah, I'd just like to
Okay.
speak to it. What I would like to say is that when Ms. Tolbert was hired, when I first became mayor, we had no clue, no idea what she was going to be doing at that time. So that's why we set the compensation at $24,000. However, over the last 17 months, Ms. Tolbert has exceeded what I expected for her to be able to do as being the appointee to the mayor. There's a thing that we say in the African American church, and it says, "Let the work that I've done speak for me." If you all look at all the things that have transpired in the last 17 to 18 months, I know that I'm out front, and I'm usually the one that everybody sees that are promoting all of the things that are going on here in the city. But I would not be able to do those things if I didn't have Ms. Tolbert to be a part of our staff. Also, we have 2 positions that are open in the admin department. I can fill those positions because they're budgeted positions where people that was working for the city left those admin positions. Now, I'm not sitting up here to tell you that she's going to be in City Hall and she's going to be working those positions. However, if I was to go ahead and not be a good steward of the city's money, that would be $120,000 to hire those 2 people. I feel that asking for only $12,000 is actually saving the city $108,000 by increasing her pay and to allow her to continue what she's doing as an independent contractor for the city.
Okay. That being said, the rationale has been explained. Councilwoman Cuellar has recommended some amendments. Councilman London, do you choose to keep the resolution as presented consistent, or would you like to expand the conversation on the amendments?
No, I'd like to keep it like consistent as we see it.
Okay. Councilman Box, keep it as it is or make changes?
The only question I had was, Mayor, we did say that we would possibly fill one of the positions. Is that?
We did say that there's a possibility to be able to fill one of those positions because it seemed like every time Lee leaves a position, we never fill the position.
Right.
So we are looking at filling one of the admin positions. If we fill one of those positions, we're still saving the city $48,000 instead of the initial amount that I gave the previous amount.
So it still leaves us a net savings?
Yeah, it's a net savings of $48,000 if we hire one person. If we don't hire anybody, it's a net savings of $120,000.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm good.
Councilman Sims, keep the language consistent?
I just have one question for the mayor. If we pass this, do you believe we'll get our return on investment?
That's a trick question. I mean, to be honest with you, Councilman Sims, if I said no, then we wouldn't be considering the increase. So I would have to say we've already got our return on investment, and the answer to your question would be yes. Sorry for the long answer, but yes, I feel that we can get the.
Councilwoman Cuellar, would you prefer to move this off of the consent agenda?
I would prefer, because when we signed this contract last year, this contract ends on October 31st, 2025, or excuse me, 2024. And so she's currently under a contract until 2024. And what we're asking is to amend this. And again, this is not doing an administrative work per se. This is the same language that was in the contract that was signed last year. And I do believe, and I'm being fair, trying to be just here, I do believe in rewarding those. I'm fine with the $6,000 increase. And then next year, let's look at it again and give her another $6,000 increase. But I am not comfortable with a big $12,000 increase.
Copy. The council has this, Councilman Box?
Just one comment on it. Councilman Cuellar is right about a contract, but legal, if we're amending a contract now, could we not amend a contract in the future that addresses Councilman Sims' question if we're not getting what we feel is adequate service?
You can amend an agreement at any time if both parties consent to it.
That's what I thought. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Council-
one other thing.
One moment for me, I'll come back around to you.
Okay.
Okay. Councilman Sims, any additional questions that have developed?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I've seen her.
I'm just trying to make sure we do our rounds appropriately. Councilman London, any additional questions that have developed?
No, sir.
Okay, Councilwoman Cuellar, please, final comments.
Yes, last year, we also approved an additional assistant for the mayor, which I believe now is Pam Holloway, is it not?
Mayor?
No.
It was Lee
No, Pam
and
has.
Ms. Tolbert.
No, Lee was the administrative assistant to the mayor. Pam Holloway was the receptionist to the city. Pam is still the receptionist to the city. Ms. Lee Allison is now the city clerk, which means that the mayor doesn't have an administrative assistant.
But we're hiring someone, are we not?
We're hiring somebody, or propose to hire somebody, to be able to assist myself and Ms. Allison.
Right.
As I stated, because I wanted to be clear and I didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to sell you something by manipulating my speech, I wanted to be clear that Ms. Tolbert will not be my administrative assistant. Ms. Tolbert is the appointee that I have been given by the Personnel Board.
So with all that being said, the body moves that the language stays consistent. We will move 16 down to regular agenda, and we will vote on it at that time. Thank you. Item number 17, resolve that Resolution 2022 R85 authorizes the execution of a contract by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. with Butch Geralds for the provision of zoning services to the city of Irondale until October 31st of 2025. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
I just have a comment, and that is that it is increasing Butch's salary by $3,000, which I think is fair, because he has been involved with the Planning and Zoning Board, and I have attended several of their meetings, and I've been very impressed with his efforts. He's been doing it for several years for the city, so I do believe that this is a fair increase.
Thank you,
And I'm
ma'am.
fine with it.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
I have none.
And myself, I'm good with it as well. And to echo Councilwoman Cuellar's comments, Butch is a fantastic at what he does, and his wealth of knowledge of our zoning and our city is unparalleled. And could everybody agree to keep that on consent?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 18, resolve that Resolution 2022 R86 authorizes the execution of a contract by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. with Bill Clifton, DBA, the Network Support Technologies, for the provision of information technology services to the city of Irondale until October 31st of 2025. Councilman London?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Just a comment for the benefit of those that are here and those that are watching live stream. This does not increase the amount of the contract. The contract had expired, and it simply renews the contract until the end of, I believe it's 2025. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
everybody contract that we are currently voting on tonight will end when our terms end on October 31st, or the first Monday in November, actually. That's when everybody's terms will end. But
Councilman Box?
The only question I have is really for people watching live streaming and myself on this is Mr. Clifton, is he the one that helps update our website, Mayor?
no, that's Computer Bill. He's the IT person for the city. So
Okay.
he does all of the IT work for admin, police department, fire department.
Very good. All right, that's it, thank you.
Councilman Sims?
No question.
Can we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Scratch 18. Item number 19, resolve the Resolution 2022 R87 authorizes the execution of an emergency one-call contract by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. with Sane and Associates, Inc. for the provision of engineering services to the city of Irondale. I understand this is a housekeeping issue and funded. Anything you need to explain on that one, Mayor?
Sane has been the city engineer since 2013. The contract that we had was from 2014. And we were just trying to make sure that all of our independent contractors, number one, had a contract to be able to protect the city, but also to make sure that we conclude everybody's term with the terms of the council.
Councilman Lennon, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Can we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then transitioning to what is on the regular agenda draft, this would be resolved that Resolution 2022 R85 authorizes the execution of a facilities solution agreement with Centos for the rental of uniforms for the Irondale Water Department. I know Jared's not with us this evening. From what I understand, I think it's just a short on the original budgeted item. Mayor, can you?
Well, this is to upgrade the water department uniforms.
Right.
Right now, if you see them, they're usually in blue T-shirts and blue Dickies. And this is to You know, they represent the city when they are going door to door and when they're out there in the field, and we want them to look like they represent the city when we're out there. So they're actually, this is to provide them with new uniforms. We're going with Centos because we're part of the Jefferson County purchasing agreement. So this allows us to be able to get the best price, the best uniforms. We don't have to bid it out because they've already done the work since we belong to the co-op.
Gotcha. And I think part of this was budgeted, but it's on the regular because it's not fully budgeted. Is that accurate?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay, got it. So when we move on, item number one, if we could be prepared to, even though it is a resolution, let's take it through the ordinance process with suspending rules, roll call, all that good stuff. All right, so that takes us through the draft on the regular.
I just had a comment. Mayor, we spoke about this. You mentioned you were gonna get me a approximate dollar amount. How much do you expect to pay per year?
I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to talk to Jared to do it, but I'll give him a call and see if he can talk.
Good, thank you.
Okay. All right. So that brings us through all the deliberations. So far, as we've gone through our agenda this evening, the only thing that has been bumped off of consent would be item number 16. So at this time, I would call for a motion to approve the form of the agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the form of the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. Okay. At this time, we would accept any comments on agenda items only. These would be the items that we have discussed thus far. Any comments on agenda items only? Okay? With no comments to the council on agenda items, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with items number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19 on consent, and move item number 16 to the regular agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That being said, on to item number 16. If someone could introduce Resolution 2022-R84.
I make a motion that Resolution 2022-R84 be approved, but with revision of tiered salary increase with $6,000 increase this year and another $6,000 increase in 2023.
We have a motion on that amended resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the amended resolution?
Aye.
Okay. We have one voice in support of this amended resolution. Therefore, and then any nays?
No.
Nay from Councilman Sims?
No.
A nay from Councilman
A nay
London,
from
a
me.
nay from me, and a nay from Councilman Brooks. So that resolution has failed as presented. Would someone like to re-present this resolution?
Motion that 2022-R84 be moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
No.
No. Motion passes. On to item number 1. If someone could move us through the process for Resolution 2022-R88.
I make a motion that.
Excuse me,
Resolution
Council
20
President,
Yes,
can
sir.
I give you all the amounts since I went out there to
Please and
call
thank you.
Jared to find out? It's going to be $11 per week for 6 employees, which is about $66 a month, which works out to be $264, well, $66 a week, $264 a month, for 4 months, breaks out to less than $1,000. And the money is already in the budget.
Okay, copy that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. So since this is since you
Budget.
have the entire amount of the budget, we do not need to take this through the ordinance process. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
he said it's already in
Thanks
there.
for saving us about 5 steps. We appreciate you, sir.
Right.
That being said, scratch the ordinance comment. If someone would like to go ahead and introduce 2022-R88.
Make a motion that Resolution 2022-R-88 be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes our deliberation and the passage of our agenda. At this time, we would be looking for any public comments to the council on non-agenda items.
Ian Bondiaris. I just have two things. I had one, but now I have two. The dogs that you were talking about, the vicious dogs, you're talking about what's gonna happen to the dogs if something occurs. There needs to be, what is gonna be the penalty for the owner for letting those vicious dogs out?
Sure.
That it shouldn't just be the dogs that are punished for roaming and being vicious.
Sure. Our vicious dog ordinance affects the dog and it also affects the owner.
Okay, great. The second thing, I'm just looking for an update on the dog park.
The update on the dog park is I've talked to Ms. Leanne McNally. She is waiting to receive a land survey from SANE, and as soon as she receives that, she's going to put a timeline together to begin community engagement, to get input from the community so that we can move forward to be able to develop the dog park.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments to the council on non-agenda items? Okay. That being said, at this time, we will be moving into executive session to discuss the consideration the city council is willing to offer when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property by the city. Once we move into this separate room to have this conversation, we will go ahead and end the executive session in that room, and we will go ahead and end the council meeting in that room as well. So that basically concludes general business for the evening. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you for the people that are running for office. We know what it's like, been there, done that, and we appreciate your presence. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Can we move into executive session?
Second.
Motion to move into executive session, second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.